Welcome back to Taste for Adventure. We've got a special one for you today. We got a big brew day going on. We got Art Kim, friend of the brew club, and we're doing.
He's the vice president of the brew club. He's more than just a friend.
Hey, that's pretty good.
That's right.
All right. But we're doing a Kolsch redemption episode. We got you a Kolsch recipe, and we're tasting a couple of the Kolsches. They didn't really go around so well last time, right?
Right. So Solemn Oath Lu, we're retasting a fresh Solemn Oath Lu. We couldn't find Boulevard's Kolsch fresh, so we got a different, very special beer from Boulevard. Their BJC commercial example of the style, Tank 7 Saison.
Yes.
And then we have another Kolsch and another Saison to try while we do our brew day and brew up a Kolsch.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, and Art, you brought something to help us enjoy some Kolsches, right?
I did. I brought an off-style hazy IPA just to kind of start things off. So, not related to the beers we're drinking, but
you brought some glassware.
Master.
I did bring some glassware. Yes, indeed. So, so we're using style-specific stage glasses that you'll see in a short little while.
All right. Salts.
Thinking about the glass, right? Because this style of glass is relatively unique.
Yeah.
And, so it's either form or function, right? So obviously, visually it's nice because the thin neck gives you more head.
Right.
It displays the head more and the clarity of the beer or just the prettiness of the beer.
I think because it's not a very wide cylinder, it's a very narrow cylinder, you can definitely see through it and it really showcases the clarity of color.
Yeah, absolutely. And then also because it's not real wide, I think the beer helps make the beer look a little lighter. So
Yeah.
I see it in that regards. But then from a function standpoint, I was wondering from an aromatics kind of perspective, does it actually help focus their aromatics? A lot of the IPA glasses, they kind of lip, they kind of float a little bit to kind of trap the gases. This doesn't necessarily do that.
Theoretically, I would imagine it kind of concentrates the aroma a little bit.
Yeah, the one thing I like about these glasses is that you really get your nose inside of it.
Yeah. The other thing, this is just from maybe a marketing standpoint, it looks like you have more than a pint. It looks like we're all drinking a pint, but I split 2 cans between the 3 of us. But it looks like a big one.
Yeah.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
Ancient Bavarian marketers.
That's right. Maybe all of the above. This really is much better than
that's very good. Yeah, this is yummy.
Mm-hmm. And so to me, the malt tastes very Pilsner-like, but the balance is more malty.
It's not dry like a Pils.
It's not dry, it's not hoppy or bitter, but it has some of those same malt flavors.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe a little bit more malt depth even. I like it.
It still has enough of that kind of roundness to make it, really kind of, it's crisp, but it's not biting really. It just kind of rolls, which is really nice.
And there is like a touch of like kind of a creaminess to it too.
Yeah.
Like it's softer on the tongue without being like sweet in the finish.
And you know, in the head.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
sticks
still there.
around, yeah.
It's still there.
Which I think is what a problem we had with the other one.
Yeah, they were completely flat because they were oxidized and they
yeah.
were old. So,
Some lacing on there. And,
all right, who wants to start?
I got a little bit longer arms.
Want to stir while I pour?
Yeah, that works.
All right. Just watch that hose in the bottom.
Yeah.
It smells really good when it hits the water.
It's a little list of it over here.
Now, how close to the chest do you keep your recipes?
I've never really had the opportunity to need to keep anything secret or anything.
Okay, I didn't know. Some people are real weird about not weird about it, but like they're very protective over their, recipes.
And realistically, nobody brews the way I brew, and I don't brew the way anybody else brews.
Yeah,
so it
that's
doesn't
fair.
really matter. I mean, I'm behind on getting the barley wine recipe. But the fact of the matter is, we're all going to brew different versions of that recipe.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
I'm not too worried about it. Now, if mine ends up being the worst of the batches, then I might be.
Then you're worried about it, yeah. We're at 152. That's good though.
There you go.
For a Kolsch, that's good. All right.
I mashed low. I mashed at 149, 150.
Did you?
Yeah, that was what my recipe was.
We've got Windmill's Kolsch here, just Windmill Kolsch, super simple Kolsch style ale. And we've got our friend from the Homebrew Club, Art Kim, brought over these lovely stanges for us to try, some official Kolsch style glassware. So super fun, thank you Art. And let's get pouring. And as you so aptly were to point out, hard pour.
Too hard.
Too hard.
That's okay.
That works.
Yeah, I think that's the way to go.
Yeah, pour it along the side.
Wow, a very different aroma than the last one, right?
Yeah, quite different.
It's more. I think I get more aroma from the hops.
Yeah,
It's more
it's more citrusy.
fruity, citrusy, exactly.
Yeah, okay, I'm learning.
It's nice. It's very, you do get a lot of the citrusy. You get some of that, the malty as well.
And maybe the word or the term round is
Yeah.
not necessarily helpful in a lot of regards, but it definitely has that kind of round feel to it. It just kind of hits the mouth in kind of a smooth wave kind of
Yeah.
fashion, really.
I wonder if they added some like late hops or dry hops because there is a little bit of that haze to it, and it's pretty hoppy aromatic.
This is,
Doesn't say anything.
yeah, I mean, this is really drinkable too, just
Yeah.
because it has that little extra grace note.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna need more of that. I'm gonna need more of that beer.
We got some left. Got some left in this can.
Well, then I'll be sticking around.
Hey.
All right. What do you guys? All right. A, B. Which is better? A, B. Pretend like you're at the optometrist. Okay.
All right.
Just from a personal preference taste thing.
we had Lou.
I
had Windmills. That's tough. I'm wearing the Windmill hat,
Yeah, you are.
but I feel like I need to redeem Lou.
I think I like the Lou a little bit better.
I do too.
Windmill was good. Like, yeah, don't get me wrong,
It's-
Windmill's really good.
It's good, but
Yeah, A or B.
the Lu was more what I think the Kolsch should be.
I think it had some of that hot bite, but it's a tiny bit more abrasive. It's less of that like roundness you were talking about, but I think the Lu had really, really well.
Yeah, I think super clean.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not looking for aftertaste in the Kolsch, really. You know, I mean, it's the other thing that this type of the shaped beer is used for alts.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
the glasses?
Yeah.
All right.
So all beer uses the
Yeah,
same.
it's the same, that same kind of cylindrical, and stange, I guess, is stick in German.
Also,
It derives from
tall,
stick.
narrow.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, we're gonna have to have this. So we brewed the alt
Right.
a couple months ago now. It's still lagering. And it turns out there's a lot of similarities between Kolsch's and alt beers. They're both ales that are then lagered, and they're both from Germany. It's just like obviously the flavor profiles, their color is different, but there's a lot of similarities to
I
them.
just wonder geographically where, like, Dusseldorf is when I think of alts, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how close the two,
Yeah.
Cologne and Dusseldorf are.
Okay, Dusseldorf and Cologne are amazingly close to each
Yes,
other.
yeah,
that makes
right
sense.
up the,
Okay.
All right.
right up the Autobahn.
What if Dusseldorf did it first, or what if Cologne did it first, and then Dusseldorf's like, Pika,
Yeah, that's my
Pika Pussies.
And then Dortmund. You know what's also really close over there is Belgium. I think we need to go to Belgium and Cologne and Dusseldorf and just figure it out.
Look, I'm free till like Tuesday, so.
All right,
yeah.
let's go.
Let's go.
Let's go.
All right, so we have washed our stanges, so Art can take them home nice and clean, and swap those out for the traditional Belgian glassware, which is the Belgian tulip glass. So we're hopping over the border from Germany into Belgium, and we're going to try Boulevard's Tank 7, which is an American Saison, but it is in the BJCP as a prime commercial example of the Saison style. So Boulevard, really looking forward to trying their Saison.
Wow, you know what? That, it's so
It
nice.
smells super traditional.
Wow. So nice. I mean, just the smells alone are just crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's that Saison like farmhouse yeast, and it does have that kind of like wild like hay-ish type character, but it's like those spicy phenols. It's like white pepper
Yeah.
and peppercorn but you know that they didn't actually add that in there.
Right.
But it's just really nice. It's really nice.
You know,
Nice flavor. Nice.
I've never brewed a Saison.
Really?
It's time.
And it's been a while since I've had one, to be honest, and I'm realizing now that
Tis the Saison.
Maybe you should brew one.
I need to do this.
Mm-hmm.
So what is it about this style that makes it unique like this? Is it?
Well,
it's the yeast, obviously.
It's
right?
the yeast. It's most of it is truly the yeast. So it is going to be a 90-minute mash.
Told you.
Yep. Which is fine. But we're at our 60-minute mark already, and I'm now just heating up the
So there you
mash
go.
water. So
You know what? Time flies when you're having fun.
That's right. So, and it's a beautiful day, and we're drinking good beers, so I'm okay with that.
I have felt for a long time that a big part of homebrewing is just the idea that you have to be able to adjust and adapt on the fly. We are not professionals.
No, yeah.
We don't have every single movement choreographed. And stuff happens, right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of it is adapting on the fly. And
Sure.
so, and sometimes the magic happens because you adapted on the fly,
Sure,
and sometimes it doesn't. But
Well, and that's why good note taking is so important.
Yeah.
Because, if you want to bottle that magic, if you have this beer that turned out like wonderful. Or maybe you're like, I don't know, maybe this is good, and then it's a 40-point beer. You got to go back to your notes to see, okay, what happened that day?
That's right.
It was a rainy day, a Tuesday in August.
Yeah.
I forgot to do this, and I did that instead of
I
what I
stubbed my
wanted to do.
toe the night before, but
So it
I
was.
found $5 in my jeans. So.
And I was wearing that hat. I
Yeah.
gotta find that hat. Good beer is all about minor modifications that you can make to create better beer.
That's right, and that's why this is the new edition.
There you go.
Based on viewer feedback from the first brewing episode. Seriously.
That's great.
Ken
Wow.
watched our episode and said, hey, why don't you have a hose, you're splashing it around, you get hot side aeration that way.
Yeah.
And that started this whole research thing, and
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, maybe that could have.
It's got something to it.
So,
There's always beer. Brewing is a lot like cars. 20 years ago, cars didn't have cup holders.
Yeah.
They didn't have little things
Didn't
for
have
your
burger
napkins.
ones.
Things evolve, technology evolves,
Yeah.
brewing knowledge evolves,
yeah.
and you just have to kind of keep up with things. It's always changing.
Open it up a little bit more so we get it through. There you go.
Very bubblegum in this beer.
Tradition. All right.
You called this SMASH.
Yes.
So what is that? What does SMASH exactly mean?
So SMASH it stands for single malt and single hop.
Okay.
That's mash, right? So it's very, very simple, right?
3 ingredients.
3 ingredient
Yeah.
recipe. The malt, the single malt, is a Cologne Kolsch malt. I think it's a German pale ale malt.
Right.
So it was malted in Cologne, Germany, 4 Kolsches. So it's 10 pounds of Kolsch malt. So that's a single malt. And the single hop is Hallertau Tradition, which is not a traditional Hallertau, it's just called Tradition.
Okay.
And it's supposed to have kind of a mix of both traditional and noble hop flavors as well as some new age, citrusy type flavors.
Got it.
And I am getting a little bit of both of those in the aroma here, some orangey aromatics, as well as some the more traditional spicy floral.
Okay.
So hopefully that holds true through the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's just a dry packet of Kolsch yeast,
Right.
and that's the whole recipe.
That sounds easy.
Yeah. So and now the important thing is translating it from easy to a good beer.
Well, yeah, for sure. But you could brew this. We're doing all grain. You could probably do this in extract. You could probably do this in brew in a bag.
Yeah, this would actually, so if you had a slightly larger vessel, you could do it as a brew in a bag, and all you would do for that is you take the 10 pounds of grains, you can put them into a muslin bag, or you can even get big vinyl ones for brew in a bag that are reusable, and you just put the big sack, and it's just like a giant tea bag.
Yeah.
And so temperature control is key for that, because what you need to do is if you have the single vessel, you only have one big brew kettle, and you have this bag full of grains, right? So you're going to add the water, and then you're going to just like basically steep it. It's called steeping the grains.
Sure,
when you're doing it that way.
Yeah.
So you're steeping the grains like it's a bag of tea, but you don't want to get over mash temperature. So you really have that range between like 148 and 160 degrees, and you got to keep it there. If you go too low, you're not going to get a lot of efficiency. If you go too high, you could kind of also screw up with the efficiency. So really, you're looking in the range of like the mid 150s or low 150s.
Okay.
So if you can really watch the heat, you probably shouldn't have beers while you're brewing in that crucial step.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, so watch the temperature and steep the grains.
Yeah.
Right. And then you take the grains out. You can rinse the grains. You know, get like a pitcher of water and like rinse them so you get all that good stuff out. And then you fill the kettle up to your pre-boil volume and let her go. So you can do it. You don't have to have a 3-vessel system. You can do it on a single vessel system.
Ure. Interesting.
Yeah.
Which is crazy because you think that kind of lends itself to maybe like an electronic system.
Yeah, I mean electric systems, those are usually single vessel as well, and that works differently. I don't know that much about them, but I think there's some similarities there. And then a lot of people start as extract brewers with a smaller kettle on their kitchen stove.
Yeah.
I brewed that way for 2.5 years, and what you do there is it's exactly the same process, but it's at a smaller scale, and you make up the difference by adding extract, whether it's DME, dry malt extract, or LME, liquid malt extract, to bump up the gravity to get like just that base, like kind of not super flavorful beer, and then you get like maybe the roasted grains or the really special character grains, and a smaller bag. You steep that to really turn it from just a generic beer into a pale ale that has a nice caramely flavor too, or a stout that has some roasty flavors. So it's definitely possible to brew, especially a simpler style like a smash beer, in a much simpler system. Did you start with extract, or did you just go full gusto?
I did about 5 batches extract.
Okay.
And then, the more you research beer, if you're inquisitive, you go online, you read things.
Yeah.
It's like playing golf, there's always a better set of clubs out there, So I started, not shortly after that, doing all grain.
Doing an all grain.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I've dabbled with electric brewing as well. I've had a grain father for a while. They all kind of do the same thing. And the biggest takeaway is they're all work. Everything is, have your grain, mash your grain, boil your grain, ferment, and turn your beer out. So
Yeah.
but it's all brewing. It's all good.
It's all brewing.
I think like the biggest thing for me is like figure out what works best for you, your space, your budget, and make it work.
Yeah,
you know?
That's right.
And I've had really good extract beers. I've had really good beers on big crazy systems, and I've been at multiple beer festivals that have homebrewers and professional brewers all serving the festivals. And I've had people tell us at the homebrew table, this is the best beer I've had in the whole festival. There's other big name brewers, two booths down, and they're just going, at all these big beers, they come to us and they're like, wow, this is great.
There's a certain freedom afforded homebrewers that doesn't exist for professional brewers. Different just kind of legal ramifications, but also just the ingredients that you can use, and the fact that you're brewing on a smaller batch of beer allows you to kind of take more liberties with what it is you're trying to do.
If you screw it up, you're only dumping out 5 gallons.
Yeah, worst case scenario, exactly.
Right?
Yep.
So, there is a lot of freedom there, and so the flexibility and the creativity afforded homebrewers is endless. You go forever.
Things have come to light.
Brew Day special and hopefully redemption episode for Boulevard and Solemn Oath. We really enjoyed all of the beers we had today. We had a couple of Saisons, a couple of Kolsches, as well as Art's Hazy IPA. So, hey, thanks for helping brew and bringing the glassware. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Very glad to be here. It was great to see you guys in action.
Yep. Yeah. It's a beautiful experience. Great to see people in person.
Indeed.
We will have many more glassware specials with the Glassware Master, I hope, in the future. So you're welcome back anytime. Thank you.
Could make that happen.